Hello, I'm Dr. Bill Coleman. This video is about learning the NANNIE technique of peer counseling. I developed this technique over years of my work as a psychologist and in teaching counseling. I remember one situation in Ethiopia where I was teaching counseling to people on an HIV project through Doctors Without Borders. It became apparent that we had to have a very simple technique for teaching the complex role of a counselor. This is where the NANNIE method began. There's only 6 components to the NANNIE method. Less than 20 words fully describes all aspects of the NANNIE method. It may be simple, but it's not always easy. In this video, you'll learn the skills necessary to be an effective peer counselor. It's important to understand what we mean when we talk about peer counseling. The counselor and the client have important shared experiences. These experiences may be very varied in what they include. It might be that they are gay, HIV positive, been physically abused, been sexually abused. There's a wide range of characteristics that may identify a person as a peer. Another aspect of peer counseling is that it's cost effective. It makes counseling affordable to everyone. It's also very inexpensive for an agency to provide peer counseling services. Studies have shown that peer counselors can be as effective as professional counselors. And being a peer counselor can be a very rewarding experience. It's important for the peer counselor to be able to provide an atmosphere where the client feels accepted. Thomas Gordon wrote about what is helpful. He says, when a person feels that he's truly accepted by another as he is, then he's free to move, to begin to think about how he wants to change, how he wants to grow, how he can become different, how he might become more of what he's capable of being. The NANNIE method is a way of showing this kind of acceptance to help a person grow and change. You may wonder what NANNIE stands for. It's a bit of an odd term, I admit, but there's 6 principles that are part of the NANNIE method. And when you put them all together, it spells out NANNIE. So they are: no judgment, acceptance, no fixing, no advice, no questions, it's not about you, and empathy. Let's explore the first aspect of the NANNIE method, that is, no judgment. Your acceptance or rejection of another's behavior is not helpful. No judgment fosters self-acceptance also. And no judgment fosters safety. When a person feels safe, then they can grow, then they can change. So the first aspect of NANNIE is no judgment. The second aspect of the NANNIE method is acceptance. And acceptance goes beyond no judgment. It's important to accept the person or situation without a desire to change. It's important that you don't have an agenda for the client. You must accept them as they are, with no expectations for change. The third aspect of the NANNIE method is no fixing, no advice. As we know, advice is seldom taken. When people are told what to do, it's often very difficult for them to follow through on that. So it's important to remember that our advice may not be taken. And also, our solution may not be his solution. So we don't want to impose our solutions on another person. Fixing others teaches them that they cannot fix themselves. And fixing builds dependence. The fourth aspect of the NANNIE method is no questions. This seems to be the hardest for beginning peer counselors to try to work with. Questions tend to take the focus off the client's experience. Questions can make a person defensive. And often, questions will disrupt the flow of feelings, of experiences, and of sharing. The fifth aspect of the NANNIE method is it's not about you. This may seem a bit odd at first, but what's important here to understand is that you as a peer counselor are taking yourself out of the experience. What you offer is understanding, not your life experience, not your thoughts, not your feelings, not your judgment, because it's not about you. It's about listening and understanding another person. The last aspect of the NANNIE method, and I think the most important, is empathy. It's important to experience the client's perspective. How are they feeling? How do they see the world? How are they reacting to situations? To understand fully what they are experiencing in life, and for a moment, lose your own identity and feel his experience. Now we're going to see the application of the NANNIE method with a beginning counselor and me as an assistant.
I understand you came in today to talk to us about something?
Yeah, it's just I've been really stressed lately about work because the economy is down and I'm not making enough sales. And of course my wife's not working because she's at home with the new kid, and I don't know how I'm supposed to be able to make things work. I don't know how I can make ends meet.
Okay. It seems, on the outside anyway, he's concerned about the financial situation and whether he's going to be able to support his family and carry on. I'm not sure if he is concerned about losing his job. He has a job now, but it seems like it's a commission or something like
Something, yeah, the sales are down. He might own the business even.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know. So.
Yes.
But yeah, the concern that he gave us was around financial stuff. And it sounds like a sense of responsibility. You know, that his wife and his kid, because we know he has a kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, are dependent on him and only him. And so it sounds like it's can be a lot of anxiety around that.
Okay.
So, short? Okay?
Short.
Short.
Keep it short. Okay, it sounds like you have a lot of anxiety about your responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got responsibilities to my wife, I got responsibilities to my boss, I've got responsibilities to my kid, and sometimes I just don't want to be the responsible one. I don't want to have everybody looking at me like, what are you going to do next? I need to get away from it for a while and not have to worry about other people worrying about me for a while.
Okay. Sounds like he needs some sort of escape from all this responsibility.
Sounds like that's one of the options he's thinking about.
Yeah.
How do I get away from all this pressure?
Yeah, because he sounds quite overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
And he's looking for a way to maintain his family and his job and whatnot without having all that pressure. And how does he escape from all that pressure?
I think he's kind of told us that it's a lot of pressure and it gets to him. And one of the things he's thought about or fantasized about is just escaping. It doesn't mean that he kind of thinks of it as a real option, or, but it sounds like, we don't know that, but it sounds like that's one place he's kind of gone, is how do I get away from this? It's just too much for me. That's what I heard.
Yes, yeah, I picked up the same thing as well.
Okay. So, what do you think is helpful for him to explore this idea more?
I think what would be helpful for him is to find some way to vent his anxiety or his frustration of being in that situation.
To talk more about what that does to him and how he feels about all that pressure on him.
Yeah, and how he can explore avenues of releasing that.
Yeah. Trusting, coping, But first, to have him really get in touch with what he's feeling.
Yes.
You got a way you think you can do that to help him explore that?
I think so.
Okay.
If it sounds like you've got this frustration that you don't know how to deal with in wanting to distance yourself from that responsibility, that pressure.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't want to shirk my responsibilities, but at the same time, I don't feel that I should necessarily have all these responsibilities. You know, it's not on me that the economy is down. I mean, I'm not the one that has caused the bottom to drop out of the market. But even though it's not my fault, it's become my problem.
Okay. I'm getting the message that he's saying that these problems and responsibilities are not necessarily his, which in a roundabout way may be true. However, in life we take on responsibilities regardless of what's going to happen on the outside that we have no control over.
See, I heard a few things there. One of them was that he didn't quite agree, I think, with what you responded.
Okay.
But what it did is it encouraged him to try to explain more fully to you what he was feeling, which I think he did.
Yes, I think so too.
So you didn't have to be exactly accurate for him to kind of explain to you more about what he was feeling.
So being on the wrong path might actually have helped.
It helped him to explore more. So he gave us more information about, I didn't cause this, and I'm kind of a victim of it.
Mm-hmm. And how do I deal with it?
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's not fair, okay, but I have all this responsibility, and I have to find a way to cope with it. But it's not really fair.
Right.
So sometimes just recognizing that it's not fair, because the world isn't a fair place, helps people to kind of go on. So that might be one point you can bring up of, that's not a fair situation, that you've been put in this position where money is tight and there's a lot of anxiety around what's going to happen. The other thing I heard him say is he really intensely feels his responsibility. It's not like just kind of something I should do. It's like really